Kakamega Senator Boni Kalwale, a non-practicing gynecology, Honorable Speaker, that when a mother is due to deliver, Honorable Speaker, and there is no delivery coach, you cannot ask that the baby goes back. You just deliver as is. Honorable Speaker, this motion of impeachment has started. We must proceed with it as is so that we can help the people of Isiolo, Honorable Speaker, realize what they have said, considering that there has been substantive public participation.
Senator Metho.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Senate cannot be reduced to a theater of absurdity. The question before us in this motion, Mr. Speaker, sir, is not a merely procedural question. It is a deep constitutional question that must be answered. Mr. Speaker, sir, just imagine if you were to carry this precedence and allow this motion to go to full hearing, Mr. Speaker. What stops a speaker of another county assembly conveying a message to you, even without any sitting? What stops them? Mr. Speaker, sir, we have been told by the leader of majority, who has been very sensational here when he's speaking, that we want to kill this motion at this level. Mr. Speaker, sir, that is actually not true. I want to disagree with the leader of majority. What we are saying is that if you have the members of the county assembly, just go back, bring a good motion, and we shall prosecute it. The Senate has not said that we are not ready to prosecute this particular motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, the senator from Mombasa has also alluded that let us just deal with this motion. If Governor Guyo is impeached, he can go to court. The prescription that the senator from Mombasa has given is that let us take poison and then we can take milk later. That shall not happen and we cannot do it. We cannot take poison as we are seeing. This motion is defective. There was no sitting of the county assembly. And so therefore, there is no recourse to it. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to say, and I want to be very, very careful with the words that I want to choose so that I'm not disrupted by many people who want to disrupt us as we are speaking here. I do not like the leadership style of President William Ruto, but the Constitution does not give me a recourse. The Constitution does not allow me to, there has no room for my feeling. It does not have any room for what I feel about his leadership. The Constitution allows me to only wait until 2027, painfully. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, even for the members of the county assembly, theirs is not a long wait as mine and Senator Wambua. Theirs is just going back. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I'm thinking in my mind, if they were to just go back to the county assembly and process this motion as it is supposed to be, we can't say that this motion has been lost, so they have to wait for 6 months, because there was no motion anyway, because there was no sitting anyway. They can sit tomorrow, process this motion, and bring it here and convey a message to you on Thursday. And we'll be here. Mr. Speaker, you can see, I woke up very early. You can see how I need to took care of my hair. You can look at me and see that I was very ready to prosecute the business of Isiolo, Mr. Speaker. So we shall be here and we shall be available. If you call us on a Sunday, we'll be here. If you call us on a Monday, we shall be here, so that we give justice to the people of Isiolo, including the governor, who is also a son of the county government of
Senator Hezana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I believe the members of the County Assembly deserved a fair hearing, because these people represent the grassroots, and that means the MCAs represent the people at the grassroots. That means their voice is powerful and their voice matters, and most especially because most of them are young people, and I will stand with them. Mr. Speaker, we are a house of rules and procedures, and I am not a lawyer, but I know that laws were formulated, or rather the history of law was for the purposes of balancing situations of too much cruelty and too much mercy. And I know that there is no limit to how many counts we need to impeach a governor. One count is enough to impeach a governor. And I was very eager to impeach him, given the fact that he had made very derogatory remarks against women, and on so many instances have rubbed shoulders very badly with various committees of the Senate. And most importantly, because I want our northern counties, which have been marginalized for so many years, to be examples of counties that can have true leadership to liberate our people from a lot of marginalization. However, Mr. Speaker, as a House of Rules and Procedures, there has been questions as to how the MCAs have approached this impeachment, and I know that it pokes a lot of questions onto how the Senate has been handling this issue. That means we need to do a lot of amendments. One, on at what level the Senate decides that this is a matter that can now come to the floor of the Senate and henceforth demand attention of the senators. I don't know whether that is a failure on the clerk or our legal team. And secondly, we also need to amend the time frame that we need between one impeachment and another, so that these issues that were really burning our MCAs in Isiolo County can be addressed in a just manner. And with that, I support. Thank you.
Senator Perez Tobiko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to join colleagues to reiterate the fact that this motion, we would have wanted to listen to the substantive part of the impeachment motion, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, the County Assembly has not been able to sufficiently demonstrate to this House that there was a sitting. And, Mr. Speaker, even when they were given a chance, the lawyers of the County Assembly were given a chance to give evidence in terms of video clips. Mr. Speaker, they didn't take that opportunity to give us the sittings at the Assembly, Mr. Speaker. What they did is to show some place like an office, which definitely had been ramshackled in a way, Mr. Speaker, which did not show it's a chamber, Mr. Speaker. There were no members, Mr. Speaker. So there was no way for this House to be able to tell that there were sittings or not, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have heard a lot about Isiolo County, and we were eager, Mr. Speaker, to go through the rigors of this impeachment proposal, Mr. Speaker. But as it is, Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Rules and Procedures, and the procedures and processes have not been followed. We have no choice, Mr. Speaker, but to send back the County Assembly to follow the law, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we would not have wanted to bring our biases into this case, because if it were, then maybe we would have gone the direction Senator Hezena is saying, because the women governors, senators in this House, Mr. Speaker, had a lot of bone to pick with the governor. But the way it has come, Mr. Speaker, it has failed the test, at least the initial tests, Mr. Speaker, for us to be able to proceed to full hearing. So, Mr. Speaker, to cut the whole story short, Mr. Speaker, it's not been proven that there was a sitting, and there is no way we can proceed if there was no sitting, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Joseph Githuku, come on.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity also to add my voice into this very important matter. Honorable Speaker, we are here to interrogate whether the County Assembly of Isiolo really sat to deliberate the issues of impeachment of the governor. Honorable Speaker, I had an opportunity of listening to the Council of the County Assembly of Isiolo. And Honorable Speaker, I can confirm that the councils were really struggling to convince this House that indeed the County Assembly of Isiolo sat to deliberate on the issues of the impeachment of the governor. Honorable Speaker, Article 96, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, provides that this Senate is mandated by the Constitution to take care of the counties and its government. Honorable Speaker, I would urge that this House, Honorable Speaker, when we retreat to make a proper deliberation on whether this motion should continue or not, Honorable Speaker, I would urge this House to do the right thing and set a good precedent, so that, Honorable Speaker, we may not be judged wrongly, Honorable Speaker, by generations to come. Honorable Speaker, with that, I support this motion, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Tabitha Keroche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity also to contribute to this motion, this important motion. I think as I'm also thinking on what to say on this motion, I feel also the pain of Senator Joyce Correa, because I think we need to amend Article 181 of our Constitution, because if you look at what you've been doing here since morning, just to deliberate on something that we know that it didn't follow the right procedure, I think we need to have the Senate Legal Department, when we amend that Constitution, to ensure before any document on impeachment is brought to this House of ours, it's really checked whether it has made the ground and it has followed the right procedure. And I think the MCAs of Isiolo have denied us a very important impeachment motion. We would have wanted really to know, because them coming to tell us that there are two speakers and two clerks, I think I would really have wanted to know how they passed to the county assembly, and as far as I know, they are the people who are supposed to approve the team that is always brought to the House, to the assembly by the governor. So I really advise you to really look at that, because at the end of it, I think you're the ones people who will be going home, not the governor, if you brought that motion. Because everybody will be asking, how did they come to be picked and put that we have two speakers? Because to me, I think the National Assembly are the one, the County Assembly are the ones who approve any team that is brought by the governor on the floor of the assembly. So I think what people are complaining about the county assemblies, we should be very, very careful, because the minute you brought a motion here and the Isiolo people that elected you are watching, they'll be wondering such questions that we're asking ourselves. How did we bring this motion? Did they not follow the right procedure? And then the accusations that are there, they are the people who are supposed to do the oversight and ensure that such things the governor doesn't do. How do you approve and allow the governor to put in two speakers and two clerks?
Senator Mwaruma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, where there is smoke, simply by the virtue of the fact that the Assembly has escalated a resolution to impeach the governor, then it's a pointer to a problem in the general running of the government of Isiolo. There's a lot of harm, career-wise, of a governor or any public officer who is impeached. And that is why we should scrutinize carefully the process and the product of the impeachment. It would have been our wish, Mr. Speaker, to scrutinize the allegations and the evidence that are pointed towards the governor. But, Mr. Speaker, we must start with the preliminaries. Mr. Speaker, impeachment takes place in the county assembly. What happens in the Senate is a trial. Now, we must ask ourselves, if impeachment takes place in the assembly, then it must take place in the correct manner. The procedure must be followed. Looking at the evidence that has been adduced by the assembly to show that there was impeachment, Mr. Speaker, I'm not convinced that a sitting took place. Mr. Speaker, because the Hansard report that has been given by the assembly has not been certified. What was the challenge in certifying the Hansard? Mr. Speaker, we've seen some semblance of violence that took place that then showed that there was destruction of the video evidence, and that the transcription was not done of the Hansard, was not done through the video evidence, but from the evidence of the audio, and that the audio is available but has not been brought here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if there's a challenge of sitting in the assembly of Isiolo, they can also ask for another venue, but the procedure is very clear that it must be gazetted, and that there must be a resolution to sit in a different venue other than the gazetted assembly. We have not been shown any gazette notice to show or to convince us that a different venue was gazetted for the assembly to sit. Mr. Speaker, I would urge the assembly to go back and do a proper procedural impeachment. We are not running anywhere as senators or as Senate. Let them bring another impeachment motion if they want. But I'm also urging that there's another process through the Committee of Devolution, suo moto. They can go to Isiolo and look and diagnose the problems in Isiolo with a view to making sure that devolution works.
Senator Esi Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to actually place emphasis on the significance of procedure in the impeachment process, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the essence of following procedure is to ensure that we are protecting the integrity of the whole process, Mr. Speaker. So in a situation where this has not been followed, Mr. Speaker, we do not want to have the impeachment process as a weak tool to restrain people who want to misuse their public offices, Mr. Speaker. So while I feel for the people of Isiolo, for the county assembly, I wish that whatever case they brought here earlier, I actually sought clarity on whether the Hansard recordings can actually be displayed if they actually conducted their sittings in a room or their sittings were done outside. There was no evidence for the same, which makes me feel then the right procedure was not followed, Mr. Speaker. We want to make this process so credible that any other governor who's brought to this Senate as a house of reason is able to go home knowing substantive justice was actually rendered to them. Substantive justice cannot be talked about where due process has not been followed, and where due process has not been followed, even wanting to go into the evidences will not help in this case, Mr. Speaker, because from the beginning, the whole process has not been followed so that we abide by the rule of law, Mr. Speaker. So I wish that we actually put emotions aside and look at this issue critically, Mr. Speaker, because all over the world really followed the rule of law. It's not about dislike for someone, and even when you dislike someone, you have to ensure that you followed the correct process for you to remove them from office. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I stand here to idle my voice that I oppose the motion, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, when 16 MCS come together for a motion of impeachment, Mr. Speaker, there must be a procedures which is supposed to be followed. Mr. Speaker, there is volume 3, which has order paper, hand-sat, everything, Mr. Speaker. If at all, if there is no procedures, this whole document cannot be available to the Senate, Mr. Speaker. So on this ground, Mr. Speaker, I oppose and I say there is a meeting, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Professor Margaret Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I sit in the Committee of Devolution, and I was involved in the case of Nyamira. We were also involved in the case of Machakos, where we had, Machakos actually didn't have different speakers. Machakos, a speaker, just decided to close the assembly, Sindai, without involving anybody. And you look at these cases and you ask yourself, what kind of advice can we give as a committee? In the case of Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, we reached a point that we even invited the comptroller of budget, because the comptroller of budget was paying one line in the assembly and leaving out the other line. And we asked the comptroller of budget, who unfortunately or fortunately happens to have come from Nyamira, and we said, so who are you paying? Because they had 2 speakers, they had 2 clerks. Why am I saying this, Mr. Speaker? I'm saying this because we need a Senate to advise and to help our counties properly. Our county assemblies need to be protected. First, one of the 2 features that came out in both counties that we handled was the violence that took place. The violence that took place in Machakos was exactly the same violence that took place in Nyamira, and the same violence that we are being told, although we did not see the actual violence, we saw the aftermath. We need to be very clear that when MCS are handling a very serious agenda like impeachment, which is very serious because it borders on who is right between the executive and the assembly, it is the protection of the MCS is of paramount. Even in this case, Mr. Speaker, if the House finds that the procedure was not done properly and that they go back, we need to be assured that even if they go back, they will have protection as a House. Because what we saw in Nyamira was a case where, gosh.
I thought the professor had 6 more seconds. Oh, Professor, you got emotional and you couldn't speak?
No, I saw the red light and I was shocked that I had finished 3 minutes because, Mr. Speaker, unless we come out as a Senate to actually define the norms, and even if we have to go to our own standing orders, we need to deal with that because the protection of our House that is dealing with impeachment must be assured. If they are not assured, then they have nowhere. They will be hiding from each other, and we will not be able to.
Now, lastly, the senator for Isiolo County. As is a tradition, the host senator normally gets more time, and therefore, Honorable Senator, I'll give you 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity and again agreeing to give me more minutes. Mr. Speaker, I have been sitting in this house for the last 13 years. What I've seen today has never happened in the history of this year. Now, the matters of procedure, this is not a court of law, Mr. Speaker. Killing a motion at the PO level is disastrous. Because people stand here and say, oh, we didn't see this, or the assembly didn't see it, or what. I wish the people who are negatively talking about the assembly, they should have known what they have gone through. Some of them, they have almost lost their lives in the circumstance. Mr. Speaker, there are people who are saying the sitting didn't take place here. The circumstance under which the assembly sat was actually very difficult because they were almost losing their lives. Mr. Speaker, before this motion, this house was crying for the blood of Governor for Isiolo. Before this motion, we know each other, and I know what transpired even 30 minutes ago. And I think it's good the public know what happened and Isiolo people know what happened. Mr. Speaker, Sokohuru is taking over this house. And I must say this. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
you cannot impute improper motive on your colleagues. If you want to proceed in that manner, you know what to do. Substantive motions.
Mr. Speaker, let me proceed, and I will leave it at that. Isiolo is bleeding today. Isiolo is not safe today. The assembly is not safe after today. I am not safe after today. Isiolo people will not be safe after today. And I can see the people who actually normally fight me in the social media, they are all here watching. Already, tonight, you will see that chaos that will happen in Isiolo County. If only this house should have looked at the proceeding to the end, then you can be able to understand the veracity of this particular impeachment. But as it is today, Mr. Speaker, I don't think Assembly will have guts to bring in a motion to this house. Not only Isiolo, the whole country. Mr. Speaker, even the governors themselves, we stand here always criticizing the counties. We stand here talking about oversight. The oversight is killed today by the same house, Mr. Speaker. If the direction you are going to take is to kill the PO, Mr. Speaker, and I must be on record for this. Mr. Speaker, we have two speakers, apparently, where two members of assembly have elected a speaker. the so-called clerk forged documents for election of the assembly members. Government printer, a very sensitive department of this country, the heart of this country, gazetted a speaker who was elected by 2 members of assembly. Where are we heading as a country? There was a commander of AP who was brought here to produce an evidence in favor of the governor. Does he sit in the house? What is his role? Security, as far as that proceeding was concerned, was actually compromised. Mr. Speaker, today you report a matter in Isiolo to DCI, to police commander, nobody is taking action. Mr. Speaker, there is a young man who was beaten 2 days ago, fighting for his life in ICU, just simply because he's a blogger. Mr. Speaker, in this impeachment, there are people who have actually been injured and maimed. Somebody is standing here and saying, go and bring another motion. Mr. Speaker, let me say here that the Senate, if they are going to take the direction of killing the PO, you have thrown Isiolo to the dogs, you have thrown the assembly to the dogs, and if anything happens tomorrow, this house will be blamed. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, I do not have any name on my dashboard of any senator indicating to speak or contribute to this motion, and therefore I will call upon the mover to reply. Senator for Isiolo, what is your intervention? Certainly it cannot be a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, I will say on the floor of this House, I need protection. The Assembly requires protection from the security agencies. I thank you.
You may proceed to reply.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate colleagues who have taken time to speak to this motion and the things that they have said, some of which I agree with, and as is the case with democracy, quite a number that I don't agree with, Mr. Speaker, and I have said it, including the point of order that I raised, that many of the things that members are alleging do not exist, actually do exist in the bundle and the volume of documents. I could excuse them, Mr. Speaker, perhaps because we didn't get to the substance of the matter before us, that perhaps many of them did not take time to read. But those things you are asking about, members, to ascertain in your minds whether the assembly sat, they are before your eyes, barely 10, 20, 30 centimeters from where you're seated, Mr. Speaker. Be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that there has been a protracted debate before us since morning with both councils for the assembly and those of the governor, trading accusations against the other on whether a sitting actually happened. You know, members, we live in Kenya. Don't be like this elitist in Nairobi who talk about Kenya from a perspective of an urban center. Mr. Speaker, how many times do we go to far-flung counties, including the very last one we went to in Turkana? Do you know part of the things the county assembly asked us to donate to them? Even Hansard recordings alone. We did that in Turkana when we last went to Turkana. So we must also appreciate that our county assemblies
need our support a big time, both in terms of technical support and even materially. Some of these counties, Mr. Speaker, are so small that if you want to judge them with the standard of a county like Nairobi or here in the Senate, we will be aloof, Mr. Speaker. If you expect that they have CCTVs, they have cameras, Mr. Speaker, you are asking too much of a county that in 2016, I was part and parcel of the budget committee, Mr. Speaker, that looked at the state of county like Isiolo and Nyandarua, Mr. Speaker, and accepted that despite the fact that we have 47 counties, there are 5 counties that there was no way, without being granted a conditional grant, was going to have a county headquarters. In fact, in this year's DORA, Mr. Speaker, is when we've given them the last contribution. That is why, and Council for, I think, the Assembly, did not do a good job at expounding to you members to understand that actually the governor and the county assembly share an office. That is how bad that situation is in that particular county. As we speak today, what you saw in that video is what these people are returning back to. Should this PO be upheld, Mr. Speaker? A place that has completely been broken, there is no order, there are 2 clerks, there are 2